Okay guys, so today we're going to do part 2 of the guided practice. Part 2. Okay, so this is a continuation from the video from yesterday. I hope you turn in your notes. So remember, you have to turn in these notes and you have to pay attention, okay? Because I will give you a short quiz on Monday about these, and then Friday you have your independent practice, okay? So this is the document guided practice. We already completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then we have these two, okay? These are the most challenging problems, okay? That's why I left them for last. So I'm gonna write number 7. Let me zoom in a little bit, and we have 5p to the 9, q to the 6, r to the 5, 4p to the 6, q to the 10, r to the 8. Everything divided by 2p to the 4, q to the 5, r to the cube, that multiplies p to the cube, q to the 7, r 5. Okay, so if you see, I'm going to cover, like I said again, if I cover the part in the bottom, what is in the denominator, here we have a big division, okay? So the idea is first to simplify what we have on the top, and what we have on the top is a multiplication. And if you remember, we already did, when you multiply, you add the exponents. So let's just write it down, because I want you to remember these scales, okay? So let's put the bubble and let's put the note, and I want to see the note, okay? About the rule, about the law. When you multiply, since I cannot do the exercises with the hands with you, then we're going to write it. When you multiply, you add the exponents. All right? Make it a bubble, make it a cloud, because this is like your brain thinking, okay? In your brain, you're going to say, oh, okay, yes. To do the multiplications over here, I have to follow this rule. When you multiply, you add the exponents, okay? So, first we're going to work on the part on the top. And what do we see? First of all, we see coefficients, okay? We see coefficients. And remember, if the letters were not there, what do you see? The 5 and the 4 are being multiplied, okay? So we're going to multiply those two numbers, and I'm going to put the result over here. I'm going to put it over here. So 5 times 4, if you want to use some kind of graphic to indicate what you're doing, the 5 and the 4, they multiply. Okay, so 5 times 4 is 20. All right, so let's continue. I am going to cover this part again. Now I'm going to start doing the multiplication, because everything here is multiplying, but I can only multiply and start simplifying p with the p like if they were multiplying, okay? So p and p are going to be multiplied, and this is where we're going to use the law right here. So I didn't do it in the other exercises, but since this one is a very complex exercise, I'm going to put the arrows, okay? We're going to combine these two using the laws of exponents. Then we have the q's. Q and Q. So these two are going to be multiplied. And now I'm going to make orange. I'm going to make orange with the yellow and the pink. Okay, so these two are going to be also multiplied. All right, so let me just continue over here. Okay, so now this part on the top, I'm going to be writing over here. Okay, so when you multiply, you add the exponents. So for the P, what exponents does the P have? I'm going to do this so that you can remember, okay? For the P, when you multiply, you add the exponents. So we're going to add 9 plus 6. I'm going to put them right here. That way you can remember, all right? For the Q, when you multiply, you add the exponents. So we're going to add 6 plus 10. 6 plus 10. And for the R, we're going to add 5 plus 8. Okay? So this is going to be our simplification for the part on the top. So now we're going to do the part in the bottom. So now I'm going to cover the part on the top, and let's see what we have over here in the bottom. So first of all, we have the coefficient. I only see the 2 right here. There's no coefficient over here, so it must be like a 1. It's not there. Okay, so 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, so now let's do the P's. The P's were in pink. Then we have the Q's and the Q's. And then I made orange with yellow and pink. Okay. I don't know if you can see it, but it becomes like kind of an orange. So now we're going to simplify P. For the P, when you multiply, you add the exponents. So we're going to add 4 plus 3. For the Q, we're going to add 5 plus 7. For the R, we're going to add 3 plus 5. Okay, so this is how our simplification is going to look. All right, so I'm going to just rewrite 20. P, 9 plus 6 is 15. For the Q, 6 plus 10 is 16. For the R, 5 plus 8 is 13. And then the part on the bottom is 2. P to the 7. Q to the 12. And the R to the 8. Okay? All right. Now, so if you see this expression right here is the simplification of these two multiplications over here. And then this part right here, this is the simplification on the part of the top. Okay, so now we can use, when you divide, let's put it over here. When you divide, I do want to see that you make this note when you take your photo, when you upload the notes, okay? When you divide, subtract the exponents. Okay? This is your brain thinking. That's why I put it in a cloud like this, okay? This is what we're going to use when you divide, subtract the exponents. But what did we say happens to the coefficients? What if I cover the letters right here? I see 20 divided by 2. And what is 20 divided by 2? Gives you 10. Okay, so I'm going to make this indication that 20 times 2 became the 10 that we have right here. All right. Now, in order to do the process step by step, I'm going to write the subtractions. I know that some of you can do the subtractions in your head, but just for the purpose of this guided exercise, I'm going to write the process, okay? So here we have the P's, the Q's, and remember, I need to see your highlighting. If you have a fourth highlighter, like a blue, like an orange, you can use that one, okay? All right, for the P, when you divide, subtract the exponent. So I'm going to subtract 15 minus 7. Okay? El de arriba menos el de abajo. The one on the top minus the one in the bottom. Q, 16 minus 12. For the R, 13 minus 8. Okay? So now all we have to do is just simplify this. 15 minus 7. How much is that? That will be 8, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. For the Q, 16 minus 12, 4. For the R, 13 minus 8, that will be 5. And this is our answer right here. Okay? So, this is our answer. Now, don't expect to see a problem like this in a test because it's time consuming. I don't want you to be doing this. Later on, I hope that we can get the calculators and then I'm going to teach you to do it in the calculator. But in the meantime, we're working by hand, okay? All right, number 8. So you see why this video is only for these 2 exercises. Number 8, we have, oh, I forgot to write the instruction. It says simplify the following. I forgot on the other one, but it's the same instruction, okay? So we have negative 3, m to the 9, n to the 10, times negative 4, m to the cube, n to the 5, times 2, m to the 8, n to the 2. Everything divided by negative 6, m to the 12, n to the 13, times negative 2, m to the 5, n to the cube. All right? Oops, sorry. Now remember, you're watching a video, so you can stop, you can pause, so that you can complete the notes. All right? Now, we already wrote the steps over here. We already wrote the laws, so I'm not going to write them again. You know that over here on this part, we're multiplying. We're multiplying these 3. Okay? This times this times this. But I see 3 coefficients. Negative 3, negative 4, and 2. So remember, the coefficients take the operation. So we're going to multiply this times this times this. Okay? We're going to multiply those 3. So what do we get? I'm going to write it over here. Over here. So negative 3 times negative 4 gives us positive 12. Positive 12 times 2 is 24. I'm just going to put the 24 right here. Now you can do this in your calculator. Okay? Now the more, as we get closer to the date of our STAR test, we're going to go over different strategies for you to save time, because what if a problem like this is in your STAR test? Okay? Remember, you're going to have multiple choice answers. You're going to have option A, B, C, D. Well, there is a strategy for you to find out much faster, quicker with the calculator. Okay? But we're going to do that later on. All right, so now we're simplifying these. Remember, we need to simplify that the m to the 9, this and this, they're multiplying. Okay, there's only 2 letters. So when you multiply, you add the exponents. I'm going to write them over here. Because this is the guided practice, I am going to write the additions. It's 9 plus 3 plus 8. And then for the n, 10 plus 5 plus 2. Okay, and then we're ready to simplify the part in the bottom. We're ready to simplify the part in the bottom. And now what do we have over here? So now I'm going to go over here to the part in the bottom. I have negative 6 times negative 2. So what is negative 6 times negative 2? 6 times 2 is 12. And negative times negative gives me positive. So it's positive 12. Now let's simplify the m with the m, the n with the n. We highlight, that way you can tell right away, okay, I'm going to simplify the pink with the pink, the green with the green. All right, so for the m is 12 plus 5. Guys, I'm adding, sorry, this is an n. I'm adding because that's the rule, that's the law. When you multiply, you add the exponents. I'm simplifying this multiplication over here. First, we simplify the multiplication in the bottom. That's what I'm doing right here. Okay? I'm adding the exponents because these guys are multiplying over here. Please don't invent things that are not true. No me inventen pasos, okay? Don't invent steps that I haven't taught you. And then the n, 13 plus 3. Okay? All right, so now we can rewrite this. We have 24, 9 plus 3 plus 8. I don't have my phone and I don't have a calculator, but I think we can do it in our heads. 9 plus 3, that's 9, 10, 11, 12, and 12 plus 8 is 20. So it's m to the 20. Now for the n, 10 plus 5 is 15, and 15 plus 2, 17. Remember, I'm doing it in my head, but you can use a calculator, okay? No se me atoren. Don't get stuck on simple addition, okay? Leave that for elementary kids, all right? You're in high school. You need to find a way to do those additions, okay? And don't make mistakes, okay? If your brain fails you, use the calculator. For the m over here, 12 plus 5 is 17. And the n, 13 plus 3 is 16. Now we have a division. So now we apply, when you divide, subtract the exponents. So subtract the exponents of who? Of the m and the n. But then what happens with these two guys here, the coefficients? If the letters were not there, we see that the 24 and the 24 divided by 12, put that in the calculator, is going to give you a 2. For the subtraction, for the simplification over here, we're simplifying, we're making smaller. m, 20 minus 17, that's my subtraction. For the n, 17 minus 16. What does that give us? 20 minus 17, 3. For the n, 17 minus 16, it's 1. Remember, this is a simplification. Look what it says right here in the instructions. Simplify. If you remember, simplify means make smaller. Write it down. Make smaller. So we need to make this smaller. We don't usually write the 1 as an exponent. If you had the multiple choice over here answers, you wouldn't see this one. So we need to write it in the correct form. The 1 is not written. We omit it. We know it's there, but we don't write it. So this is the answer, okay? All right. So this is the end of the guided practice, okay? And that way we've done 7 and 8. So tomorrow on Friday, you will do by yourselves the independent practice. You have the notes from the 3 days, okay? So these exercises are going to be for Friday, all right? So that's it. And remember, if you have any questions on Friday, you send me a message, you send me an email. If you want, we can set up a Google Meet, okay?